Hi, it's Laura with Lexically Literate. So today I wanted to talk to you about the hardest sound in the world, at least in my opinion. It's that tricky R sound. So I've got some notes over here, so if you see me looking away, that's what I'm doing. But I just wanted to give you some tips on if your child is having trouble saying that sound, when you should be concerned and maybe seek out speech therapy services, and also some things that you can do at home to help them. To start with, we want to talk about why is R so hard to say. Your tongue has to do a lot to make this sound. So your tongue has to be in the right position in your mouth, and it has to have the right amount of tension in it. So that's a lot of things to have to coordinate. It makes a lot of different variables for what could go wrong. When we're talking about other sounds, we can see the tongue usually. So like for example, for the TH sound, I can just say, put your tongue between your teeth and blow air. And it's very easy to see and visualize, and I can even have the child look in a mirror to be able to see their own tongue, and I can tell them to make their mouth match my mouth, and it's just a whole lot easier to visualize and to teach and to just model that correct production. But with the R sound, the tongue is inside the mouth and the teeth are almost closed, and so it's like it's hidden and you can't really tell what it's doing in there. So then you're left up to being able to explain to a child what your tongue is doing to make the sound, which makes it a whole lot harder. So we have to go through a lot of trial and error to be able to figure out what we need to do to help that child say their R sound. So there are actually two different positions that your tongue can be in for the R sound. So this is what I do in therapy a lot when I'm talking, especially to younger children, is I just have some Play-Doh, and I like to get the pink kind because it looks like your tongue. So your tongue, we start with some anatomy. You've got the blade portion of your tongue here, and then you've got your tongue tip. And so imagine that it's in my mouth this way, and this is the tip of my tongue. So for the first kind of R, it's called a bunched R, and what your tongue does is it goes back in your mouth and it bunches up. It gets wide in the back and there's lots of tension, and that's called a bunched R. So that would be like And then the other kind is called a retroflexed R. So what that is your tongue tip actually goes up. So your tongue tip goes up and back, and that makes, it's kind of like a curled shape. And so that's the retroflexed R. I like to try both kinds with kids in therapy to see if one of them works better for the other. And a lot of times we end up going with that retroflexed R where the tip is up because it's easier to shape from other sounds. For example, what I can do is, if the child can say a good L sound, I have them start with that. For an L, think about where you put your tongue for an L. La, la. Your tongue tip is up behind your teeth. So then I can shape that into a good R sound by having the child move their tongue tip from right behind their teeth and move it back. So I'll have them say the L sound, and then while they still have their voice on, I have them drag that tongue tip back and see if we can get a good R sound. So it would look like this in therapy. I would say, and you see my jaw closes a little bit as well. So that's one way that you can try to shape a good R sound for a kiddo that's having trouble with that. If your kiddo is saying a W sound at the beginning, that's actually the easiest thing in my opinion to fix. So if your child is saying wabbit instead of rabbit, that's called gliding. That's a phonological process, which is a pattern that their speech follows where they're always substituting W sound for the R sound. The W sound is a very visible sound. So you think about, what do your lips look like when you say a W sound? It's a little circle, right? So what I have kids do to keep from doing that is I explain that to them. I say, oh look, my lips are a little circle. Ooh. Let's not let our lips get little for this sound. So what we do is we smile when we say the R sound at the beginning, because if you're smiling, your lips can't make a little circle, okay? We would say like wed becomes red, and it might not be a perfect R, but at least it's a closer approximation and we're moving in the right direction, and they're not using that W sound. So I always tell them to smile for their R sound, red. And that does look unnatural to do that, but we start there, we get that good R sound, and then we can make it more natural as we progress and as they master that skill. So those are just some of the things that I wanted to just show in this video. There's a lot more information in the blog post about ways that you can help support production of the R sound, what age you should expect your child to have mastered that sound by, when to seek speech therapy evaluation, and more. So be sure that you read the whole blog post for all of that information. But I just wanted to get on here because some things are just easier to see and explain over video than it is to try to write all of that out. So I hope that that was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And don't forget to give this video a like and to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to come out with a lot more videos to go with the blog content as well, so you don't want to miss any of that. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.